Nana Achina Kwejanriama, the fifth representative.
Knows how we will get there. We know we will. The second part that I love most. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. I believe this was the message Otumfuo said to the second gave us about 10 or so days ago when we met with him last night. That we will get there. And that really formed out my prayer. Father, we thank you that we are going. That only you knows where we will go and how we are going. You've been our source of inspiration. Father, my prayer this evening is that be our hope for the days to come. For 25 years, Otumfuo said to the second has steered up this great institution. And we have reached out to many. But God, the rest is in your care. Just as you have been our source of inspiration these many years past, my prayer this evening is that be our hope for the days to come. Let men and women who are honored, let men and women who are recognized, let men and women who have become unsung heroes through this organization be recognized and blessed again. And I pray above all things that we will be together as we celebrate people who have spent their back and done everything within their means to support this nation beyond. I also pray that even as we launch this session, that you give them the wisdom of Solomon, the tenacity of David, and the acceptance of Daniel. Let us be like an Esther that will be able to penetrate through. And I pray also, God, that you will give us the right men and women to be honored. I bless and sanctify everything we do now, even until September, when we finally get together. Otumfuo said to the second evening. I pray for every man, every woman under the sound of my voice. I said, even if there's anything in the secret place of their hearts, let it be down to the glory. In Jesus' name, and certainly in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Amen. It will be hard, and the road will be muddy and rough. Will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. And for those of you who are not Ghanaians, there's a part of it. Wayae, 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 wayae. This was composed by Ghanaians. And I think the Queen of England II liked it so much that he blessed them. God bless you.
International evangelist, economist, and diplomat, Dr. Lawrence Tete. Shall we do one more big round of applause in appreciation of that prayer? Your here gathered, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, laureates, good friends gathered here from far and near. There is a culture which unfortunately runs in certain parts of our African continent, which the Millennium Excellence Awards has sought to correct over the years. This has been done since the very first day that Millennium Excellence Awards became a big block on the calendar of achievement and on the calendar of recognition. This platform over the years has ensured that we celebrate our own, recognize their efforts, and make sure that we do it in a big way. And by doing all of this, we inspire others to also achieve within their respective places in terms of endeavor. Today, we would like to pay our maximum respects to Otumfuo Osei Tutu, the king of the Ashanti Kingdom, who's the life patron of this very big platform. It is through his wise counsel and his leadership that the Millennium Excellence Awards has traveled this far. At this time, we'd also like to pay our maximum respects to the man who saw the vision many years ago, the man who looked within our society and saw positivity, the man who looked within our society and saw that there were minds of Ghanaian origin but of global relevance, and a man who has continued to steer that vision to this date. Nana Ajiman Prempe, also known as Ambassador Ashim Morton, the founder of the Millennium Excellence Awards. Shall we put our hands together? This evening, would also like to recognize the very hard work and the effort of the team that sits at the top of the ladder and ensures that all of the work is done according to the letter. At this time, I'd like to recognize the effort of the chairman of the Millennium Excellence Foundation, Dr. Grace Ameobing, the chairman of the board of directors, Professor Elsa, the chairman of the advisory, chairman of the board of trustees, Alhaji Na Andani, and the entire governing body of this foundation. Shall we do one more big round of applause for them? Tonight, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our life patron, His Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, realizes the importance of this occasion. But considering that other pressing matters have taken him beyond the shores of our beloved nation, Ghana, he has duly delegated Nana Achina Kwijanyama V, who is a revered traditional ruler within the Ashanti Kingdom, to stand here and oversee everything that we're doing as our chairperson for this evening. At this time, it gives me great pleasure, respect and love to welcome him here onto the stage. Welcome all of us. Shall we put our hands together as we welcome Nana Achina Kwijanyama V.
Good evening. Distinguished invited guests, His Excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps, Nananum, esteemed laureates of the Millennium Excellence Award, our friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pleasure and pride that I stand here today to represent His Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu, the life patron of the Millennium Excellence Foundation, has become the most prestigious independent award-giving body in our country. I am, it has been said, I'm a senior member of the Kumasi Traditional Council, and I oversee a number of communities in Ashanti and the Ahafo regions for His Majesty. The Millennium Excellence Awards commenced with an idea in the mind of my own great-grandson, Nana Ajima Prempe. The purpose of the foundation and its award was to recognize and celebrate outstanding achievement of our men and women who are doing exemplary things through their own endeavors, be it in business, the arts, sciences, sports, and public life, and have as a result made a tremendous difference to the life of our fellow citizens, not only within Ghana, but across the mother continent. I had the pleasure to host the maiden award ceremony in 2000, in the year 2000. And since then, several notable personalities have been recognized, awarded, and celebrated, some of whom are being put on show here to jog our memory. Some of these people include Professor Francis Alote, for example, a noted Ghanaian mathematician. Across Africa, Professor Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate, Patrick Awuah, a young educationist, the late Osumuru Kofi Annan, Ghana's topmost international diplomat, the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa, former President Ejekun Kufuor, former President Jerry Rawlings, former President Mahama, Mr. Aliko Dangote, Dr. Kwabena Kufuor, our own Chief Imam, Saributu, Ambassador Philip Weho, the list goes on. President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, Tokwe Afedi, Father Andrew Cambon, and many, many others. Zuma Nelson, Professor of Boxing. This really shows that the Millennium Excellence Award transcends Ghana and has made a significant impact right across the mother continent. But the youth are now questioning their role in all of this. We've been given tremendous opportunity to realize our full potential and make an impact on the lives of the ordinary Ghanaians and also the rest of Africa and globally. But there is a simmering anger or simmering discontent among our youth, which we need to recognize and address. They have heard us say that, we used to be able to drink fresh water from our rivers and streams without adding any additives. We used to be able to swim in those rivers. We used to collect fish in those streams and rivers. We can't do that anymore. We told them, those of us from the forest belt used to be able to gather snails and mushrooms, growing wild in our environment. We can no longer do that because we are spraying pesticides to control weeds and poisoning our food chain. They feel we had all the privileges that our parents were able to give us, but we are not living up to the mantra that the future belongs to the youth. So, as teachers, as parents, as people in the public service, let us sympathetically listen to what the youth are telling us. They want us to live for them a livable environment so that they can stay here in Ghana and unleash their God-given talent to make Ghana better and to make Africa better. But some of them are crossing the Sahara Desert at great peril to themselves because they feel that they can no longer fulfill their aspirations in Ghana. So let us address this concern. Let us create an enabling environment that will enable us to have yet another Kofi Annan, yet another Professor Alote, inventors, people who have made a tremendous difference to our welfare and our well-being as a society, so that we can honor and applaud them. Let's get another professor of boxing, Azuma Nelson. The talent is everywhere, but the youth are saying that we are not harnessing that ingenuity and creativity. So His Majesty is throwing a challenge to all of us, that as business leaders, as people who have a lot of influence in our society, let's employ people on merit. Let us award scholarships to the youth, the students who are able to make the most use of these opportunities, so that they can come back and make Ghana better and help the mother continent to be able to stand on its own feet. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of us successful get together and a happy occasion this evening. This is the 24th year of the award ceremony. We are going to get there. As the Reverend Canon said, we are not going to give up. The road is going to be muddy and rough. There will be troughs and peaks, highs and lows, mountains and valleys along the way. But let us not relent, because Africa needs our creativity, Africa needs our talents. We need to be the best we can wherever we find ourselves. Azuma Nelson wasn't born into any great wealth, but he was able to capitalize on his innate talent to conquer the world as a boxer. Abedi Pele, footballers, you name it, talent is abundant in Ghana and across Africa. As Aliko Dangote and Mr. Joseph Siao and others have been able to focus on, say, the environmental sustainability, let us bequeath an environment that will be livable. And especially during this year, which is election year, let us promote peace and unity, good neighborliness, and live in harmony, so that the elections ahead of us will bear testament to Ghana as being the oasis and the haven of peace and the black soil of Africa, to the glory of the founding fathers of our land and the glory of Otumfo. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
We are eternally grateful to Nana Achinako Janriama V, our chairperson for this prestigious launch. Excellencies here gathered, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please help me appreciate him with another big round of applause. By way of introduction, my name is Nathaniel Atto. This evening, I will be your master of ceremonies, and it's my hope that together we will all go through what will be yet another great memory that will be etched in the sands of time. At this time, I'd also like all of us to pay our respects to all of our friends who have graced the very big stage and have come up for honors on the stage of the Millennium Excellence Awards over this 25-year journey. Based on what they have all done in terms of contributing their respective bits to our society and what makes up our big picture, it's always important that as we go along, we'll continue to remember their efforts. We'll continue to remember the fact that the Millennium Excellence Foundation saw right and saw good and saw platinum in their work and in their efforts. And tonight, Respectfully, I'd like us to rise and give all of them a massive round of applause for the massive work that they have done over the years. Some of these recipients and past recipients are here with us this evening. I would like to say big salutes to all of them. Thank you all very much. Please do take your seats. Over the course of this 25-year journey, we have seen many great days on the big stage that has been organized and put together by the Millennium Excellence Foundation. Considering the fact that this is a big spectacle that is put before our eyes and before our thoughts every other 5 years, it's very important that a lot of work goes into it. I'd like all of us at this time to fix our eyes on the screens as we all go through this audiovisual documentary that captures very key elements and highlights of this very impressive journey.
identification. It takes due diligence to mark out the best elements in the crowd, not that they are so human than the others, but because their profundity and distinguished services to humankind and other creations of God and by man are unmistakable. In its 25th year, Silver Jubilee, the Millennium Excellence Awards, under the life patronage of the 16th occupant of the gold stool of Asante Kingdom in Ghana, Tunko Setutu II. The awards, initiated by Ashim Morton, now known as Nana Ajimai Prempe, is enviable, but also one that anyone else may aspire, provided you do not view the realms of the metaverse beyond your reach. The West African nation galvanized the decolonization process in Africa and beyond, when in 1957 it became the first nation in sub-Saharan Africa to achieve independence from colonial rule. It is one of the respected voices in the global space, playing pivotal roles in the United Nations, the African Union, ECOWAS, the Non-Aligned Movement, and other organizations to which it belongs. In terms of resources, Ghana is well endowed, both natural and a galaxy of professional luminaries. Their existence also highlights a disturbing paradox that could be found almost everywhere on the globe. The incidence of social and economic inequalities that is a juxtaposition of a privileged class of people, of sections of society wallowing in poverty. Ghana scored another first, and it is proud of it, by pioneering one of the most prestigious awards on the African continent in 1999. Under the auspices of the revered king of the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana, referred to as Asante Hene, the Millennium Excellence Awards, MEA, demonstrates the acuity able to locate all key role players. A stellar performance always stands out, and the determination of status a low-hanging fruit. Adding to the extraordinary nature of Ghana's Millennium Excellence Awards, MEA, is the fact that the event does not only hoist the flags of exemplary personalities already in the public light, but retrieves those buried in the haystack or considered jewels in the mud. These achievements span peace mediation, education, technology, humanitarian services, and many others. Among the esteemed foreign personalities who are past laureates are Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Mo Ibrahim, Haile Gabriel Selassie, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, Tony Egumelu, Paul Boateng, Isama Gabriel Ibenidio, Professor Wole Soyinka, Emmanuel Edabayo, Aliko Dangote, Isabel dos Santos, David Harper, and Cyril Ramaphosa. Ghanaian citizens who have won the meritorious award include Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Roberts, John Ejekun Kufuor, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills, John Dramani Mahama, and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Others are former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, James Victor Behu, Osajefo Amoetia Foripini, Azuma Nelson, Abedu Ayaw Pene, Dr. Joseph Siao Ejapon, Ebo White, Dr. Osei Kwame Despite, Anas Remiyaw Anas, Professor Kofi Anyidoho, Paul Ansa, Professor Francis Alote, Alex Apio Adade, and Togwe Apene.
The Millennium Excellence Awards, under the distinguished patronage of His Majesty, is Ghana's preeminent way of recognizing men and women who have achieved significant success, not just personal success, but success for organizations and for the country and indeed for Africa.
As we gather to celebrate the 25th Royal Silver Anniversary of this prestigious award ceremony, we are reminded of the visionary leadership and the commitment of His Majesty Tunko Osei Tutu II Ashanti Hene. He His dedication to honoring excellence, creativity, and innovation has inspired countless individuals, including myself, and many other organizations worldwide.
I was among the first group to receive this prestigious Millennium Excellence Award. It coincided with my return to Ghana from my United Nations career. It was a fantastic welcoming gift because it conferred on me not only bragging rights, but also public recognition and appreciation of my life's work.
When I was mentioned, I felt proud. And I didn't get complacent about it. I thought, well, someone has organized my work, and therefore I have to double my effort to ensure that the mission upon which I paid myself should move forward.
The awards have become a beacon of inspiration for many, and I'm thrilled to see how it has brought together individuals and organizations from diverse backgrounds to share in the joy, the celebration, and achievements of the foundation. And I believe this is meant to foster collaboration and unity of purpose.
It gives us the purpose to continue, not just for personal gain, but for national advancement. I myself have since 2015 received the Millennium Excellence Awards for Innovation and Invention. And I must say that I have been proud that you as patron deemed fit to give me such an award. In 2022, I also received the significant award of the Man of the Year 2022. And this has given me resolve to follow the life purpose of servant leadership. And I know that over the 24, many recipients of the Excellence Awards have encouraged the younger ones to walk in their steps.
The more relevant importance of my being selected with other ladies for this prestigious award, in my opinion, lies in the motivation and inspiration it gives to young girls to believe that they can do it too with hard work.
I was privileged to be awarded the Finance Personality of the Decade by the Millennium Excellence Award, which is an award that proudly hangs in my office. Of all the awards I've achieved, that is the one that reminds me of my impact on society.
As a past prize laureate, I am privileged to have been part of this esteemed community of achievers. The Millennium Excellence Award has not only celebrated our achievements, but also it has empowered people like me to continue striving for excellence and for making meaningful contributions and commitments here and beyond.
I pray that with this Millennium Excellence Awards will continue to be an objective, meritocratic recognition of nationals in their various fields of endeavor, and will encourage the youth to follow in their footsteps. Because in our 60-year history in Ghana, it is leadership and selfless leadership as exemplified by the Millennium Excellence Awards and deserving recognition that can create the inspiration to change the narrative of Ghana.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Millennium Excellence Award and particularly the leadership of Otumfuo to continue to provide this platform for people to work not just for personal interest but for the good of communities.
As we celebrate this milestone, I urge all Ghanaians and people around the world to continue to strive for excellence, innovation, and creativity.
My hearty congratulations to the Millennium Excellence Foundation as it celebrates its silver anniversary.
The personalities to grace the 2025 Millennium Excellence Awards are former U.S. President Barack Obama and his spouse, Michelle Obama, Aliko Dangote, Olusegun Obasanjo, Mo Ibrahim, William Ruto, Tony Elumelu, Cyril Ramaphosa, Tyler Perry, Valerie Jarrett, Reggie Lam, Lisa Jackson, Wole Soyinka, Diamond John, and Ngozi Konja-Iweala. All roads lead to Ghana in 2025. The Millennium Excellence Awards, which started in Ghana and along the line hosted by Kenya and Nigeria, makes a return home. You can fancy your chances of recognition in this grand awards. The 2025 Millennium Excellence Awards at your doorstep. You can't miss it.
Our chairperson, Nana, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to remind all of you that we're live on the station of the nation, GTV. And of course, this is going to the rest of the world, especially to our friends who cannot be here with us this evening. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to bring here to the stage a man who is the embodiment of the old Ghanaian saying that goes, the best comes from the West. Go back to some years ago when in the years 2000 specifically, he stood on the big stage of the Millennium Excellence Awards and gave a very, very impressive world-class performance. Tonight he is here to bring back those wonderful memories and also to celebrate a great genre of music that Ghana has sold to the rest of the world, which is high life. Some years ago, he celebrated his septuagenarian milestone, and he is still beaming with so much energy, looking forward to the future, and also inspiring the new generation of Ghanaian musicians. Chair, Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, good friends, loved ones, laureates, ladies and gentlemen. Please help me with a warm round of applause as we welcome the legendary Jedouble Ambule.
Good evening. I want to hear some more voices. Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here to add my musical ability to the Millennium Awards. you very much. Thank you.
Your turn. A classic masterpiece of Ghanaian musical art, and I do know that you all agree with me. Please do a big round of applause. Your Excellencies, here Ghana, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we do remember that the Millennium Excellence Award was organized for the very first time on the stroke of the millennium. Considering that we are in an age of AI, I am glad to welcome my co-MC here onto the stage. Please help me welcome Cello. Well, good to see you, Cello. So tell me what we have coming up next.
With a big round of applause, let's welcome him.
Thank you very much, Cello.
This is the first time in my life I've been introduced by a robot. So let's give the robot a hand, shall we please? Ohinana Achina Vajanuama the Fifth, representative of His Majesty Otumfuo, Osentu to the Second, members of Parliament, the diplomatic corps, the clergy, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. To begin with, it's a great honor to have been asked to speak to this topic, critical thinking for quality national leadership. Considering my interest in the subject, it also happens to be a concern that I've been writing about in my column Education Matters in the Daily Graphic for the past 20 years or so. The topic, I believe, is most appropriate for this occasion as we launch the 25th anniversary of the Millennium Excellence Award. The recent events in Ghana add further steam to the importance of quality national leadership. First, a recent front page publication in the Daily Graphic 27 June 2024 of the Ghana Statistical Service report stating that over 7.3 million Ghanaians are multidimensionally poor. They have deprivations in education, health, living conditions, or employment. Second, a recent speech by the Honorable Bokwate at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA, in which, responding to social media reports that a Dutch passport was worth more than a Ghanaian PhD, he noted that leadership must be at the heart of that response to resolve those issues. Third, I refer also to an article by one Rex Dankwa, in which he asked, what do we get educated for? To squander national assets? He didn't use the word squander, but I toned it down using using an euphemism. In addressing these concerns of critical thinking for national leadership, I referred to my professional life as an educator who has keen interest in the subject. For one thing, teaching leadership seminars at Leicester University, I was most impressed by the motto, which runs as follows: to educate a new generation of ethical, entrepreneurial leaders in Africa, to cultivate within the students the critical thinking skills, the concerns for others, and the courage to transform a continent. I think Patrick is here. Where's Patrick? Okay, Patrick was here a little bit ago. I wanted us to give him a standing ovation. But let's do it in the substance English. Shall we please? Patrick Iwura of Access University. Good. Currently, I teach creative and critical thinking at the Accra College of Education, whose motto runs like this: to provide world-class medical education that is relevant and tailored towards solving Ghana and Africa's health problems, and producing unique graduates who are committed to excellence and have a hard power to help the less privileged. The Professor Hesse here, let's give the young lady a hand. Let's give the young lady a hand. These are my mentors. Now, before teaching in Ghana, I have taught a good many nationalities in the United States, be they Chinese, Koreans, Malaysians, Filipinos, Taiwanese, etc. And I realized that cognitive abilities of people are not that different. But the question is, why are those nations doing better than us? Especially in their standards of living and quality of life. I recently led a delegation of about 60 Ghanaian students to Bali, Indonesia, in international competitions. Some of the students won prizes in gold, silver, and bronze. In other words, though the potential is great for Ghanaians outside the country, the political and economic systems are so stifling. They drain them of their potential. Is it any wonder then why some would rather opt for a Dutch passport than hold a PhD in Ghana? These are the issues that we need to discuss. Now, is it also any wonder, and I think that you alluded to it, that a good many young people attempt to cross the hazardous Sahara Desert, with some dying in the process, and the rest attempting to gain across the risky Mediterranean Sea in collapsible boats, with many dying in the attempt. And to think that even for the few who make it finally to Europe, they are clearly not wanted there. Meanwhile, Ghana is a most beautiful country with a great potential. The missing ingredient is the leadership mindset that has to understand that success is what we do to make other people's life easier. Anything short of that is greed, selfishness, and national failure in leadership. So, as we consider critical thinking for quality national leadership, let's focus on the political question with the following quotes. A country where politicians have more money than entrepreneurs, they manufacture poverty. These things are not easy to say, but they need to be said. And to remember also that the most dangerous people are the ones who have nothing to lose. The recent riots in Kenya should give us pause. It's a great reminder of the dangers that could lurk ahead. Now, Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore was here in Ghana in February 1964, and he noted this, that public order, personal security, economic and social progress are not the natural order of things. They depend on ceaseless effort and attention from an honest and effective government that the people must elect. Now,
the unsightful Kwame Nkrumah's rallying cry from the beginning of his activism to the very end was about the needs of the people he consistently referred to as the masses. Today, that word has disappeared completely from our lexicon and from the political vocabulary. It's often said that to see how any nation will fare in the future, see how the youth were raised in that particular country. So, to develop critical thinking for quality leadership, I'm convinced that we must start with the young ones as servant leaders and not as privileged actors with entitlement mindsets, knowing that to those to whom much is given, much is expected. That is to say, education must focus on problem solving to elevate our common humanity, what Accra College of Medicine calls the heart power. Ashesi University also focuses on similar practices by helping to raise a new generation to be honest problem solvers. And that is practical, possible, and necessary. For example, the curriculum of the International Baccalaureate, what we call the IB program, has a component that focuses on creativity, activity service, in short they call it CAS. To qualify for an exit diploma, the teenagers must be seen helping others. So, in rural settings, some act according to better angels of their nature and are seen mixing sand, stones, and cement to build schools for the less privileged. It's not about sitting behind desks and copying notes and reproducing them. And when they are done, they return to teach children in those deprived areas in English, mathematics, science, etc. In other words, they are taught to give up of themselves for the success of the larger community, for the common good of the country. Similarly, some junior high school students in a particular high school I taught in Accra add value to themselves and their communities by mounting canopies for an outreach program to do health screening in the communities guided by qualified medical personnel. That's a picture. And these are JHS students, too, not JHS 3. They haven't even gone to secondary school yet. But the purpose of serving humanity is key in that curriculum. Now, as we speak, we realize it's never too early to give oneself to help others so that we develop the appropriate mindset going forward. Today, in Ghana, JHS students are about 1,800,000 in numbers. Senior high school, about 1,350,000. Tertiary and public and private schools are about 711,000 students. In all, just imagine the social impact when a total of nearly 4 million youngsters are released beyond classrooms and lecture halls to give of their latent energies for the greater good and to develop leadership instincts that way. I keep saying that a key reason many people entrusted with power cannot perform adequately to solve problems is from the way they themselves were taught. And you can't blame them too much. They were taught to repeat information passively just to pass examinations. Now, as adults, they mount platforms, television and radio stations and talk. But give them the responsibility, and they will continue to reproduce the same old problems they were elected to solve. When we make others succeed, the whole nation will be equally successful. In conclusion, the quest for Millennium Excellence Foundation is to identify people to make a difference in their corners, wherever they find themselves, and for them to shine as role models in whom we can be justifiably proud. In conclusion, at the end of the day, how they were taught and how they taught themselves to earn these awards make all the difference. And these are examples for which we meet this evening. So,
Thank you very much for the attention.
Let's give a big round of applause to our speaker. It's time for our next speaker.
Ghana is pleased to announce the appointment of Mr. Kweku Ando Awortchwe as the board chairman of the United Bank for Africa, UBA. He is the immediate past managing director of Tullow Oil Ghana Limited and executive vice president of Tullow Oil PLC. He has over 30 of work experience, having occupied various managerial positions in both national and multinational organizations, notable amongst them being the Volta River Authority, Tullow Oil and Ashanti Goldfields Company. Alex Adade.
With a big round of applause, let's welcome him.
Chair, honored ministers of state, ambassadors, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Over the next 6 to 9 months, the foundation will be asking for nominations for leaders in our society who have made a difference. And they cut across all industries, entertainment, sports, music, culture, politics. I've been asked to talk about the context in which we live in these times and what difference we are thinking of people should be making. So I'll talk about 3 things in the geopolitical landscape, and really I'm not sure I'm any more qualified than most of you in the room, just readers of the news mostly, and cross currents in those geopolitical landscape. 2 of them in particular, climate change and the rise of AI. What are those 3 things I want to talk about in the geopolitical landscape? We are in heightened we're in war. We're at war in various parts of the world. We're also seeing the rise of authoritarianism and the weakening of democracies around the world, including Africa. And lastly, we are seeing the growing strength of regional blocs. And you have to ask, so what does it matter to us here in Ghana? When you think of the war in Ukraine, you see a fundamental realignment of the powers in Europe and around the world, Palestine, Gaza, and Hamas. Or even closer to home in Sudan, we're seeing the largest displacement of people, over 10 million people over the last 2 years in the Sudanese war. And just last week, we saw 3 of our members of ECOWAS saying they don't want to be members of ECOWAS anymore. That is something that has never happened before. How does that affect us here in Ghana? One of the things that observers will tell you is that crises tend to expand and migrate. And those of us who are observers of our borders will know that those crises in the Sudan, in ECOWAS, are coming into this country. What are we doing about those things? We're also seeing the rise of authoritarianism around the world and the weakening of democracies. And we see that in countries like India, Hungary, even in the US, the rise of populism. But even in West Africa, we talked about the coups. What does that mean for Ghana? In some ways, Ghana is a beneficiary of the fact that we are a stable island of democracy. Sometimes it's good and bad. Many people feel that we've been given a pass sometimes by the IMF because we are that stable island of democracy. But what is important about that? What is important about those regional blocs that are growing Just last week, for instance, just around the time when NATO was meeting in Washington, D.C., we had a meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. I bet many of you people have not heard of that organization, led by China and Russia. Met at the same time when NATO was meeting and talking about a range of alliances for that bloc. Includes India, many of the stands, Pakistan. And then you think about the BRICS. You talk about Brazil and Russia, India, China. What is going on with those organizations? I can tell you they are a counterweight to the G7 and the Bretton Woods institutions, and they are not going away. If anything, they're going to grow in strength because they are unhappy with the current world order. What does that mean for us in Ghana? Now, what is interesting about this is that these countries, China and Russia in particular, are probably the largest investors in Africa today. And the US, for instance, and many Western countries are trying to play catch up. What does it mean for Ghana today? In those cross currents of that geopolitical landscape, talk about two things that are sweeping the globe and sweeping us all. Imperatives of climate change and AI. But imperatives of climate change, we realize we are late to the game from a certain point of view. It makes sense. Africa as a whole contributes less than 4% of global emissions, but we are the worst affected. When you look at the investments in climate change around the world, Africa and Ghana, less than 5% of those investments. But those investments are creating jobs, they're creating opportunities, they're also putting pressure on our traditional sources of development funding. And when we look at how investment funding is drying up in the oil and gas sector, for instance, that is a cause of concern for Ghana. It is a cause of concern for many African countries because that is what we use to develop our economies. What is our country doing about it? What is our government doing about it to fast-track those developments or to put a priority on development of gas, which is known as a transition fuel? So climate change is real. Not just in terms of impacts and hurricanes and extreme weather, but in terms of how it's going to change the economic landscape in Ghana, in Africa, and around the world. And what we see is that we have the least amount of investment on the continent, and we are the slowest to adopt the technologies that are being made ready. This week I spoke at an electric vehicle mobility conference, and the numbers were Africa was 3% of the investment, 400 billion, 500 billion of EV mobility around the world. Africa was spending less than 10 billion. And yet, these are the revolutions that are transforming our economies. And we have to ask, what is our challenge and what is the government doing to motivate, to encourage, to create opportunities for our young people? And of course, then we talk about AI. When we talk to many or go to many conferences around the world, just this week I heard Tony Blair say ChatGPT is going to transform the world. And so then you ask yourself, what is happening here in Ghana? When is the last time you heard a government official talk about ChatGPT? I haven't. But, when you're in academia, when you're a researcher, these become invaluable tools in the development of your craft. And for a young person, these are the things that either enable you or hinder you as you try and move forward in your career. Thankfully, the Millennium Excellence Foundation talks about many more things other than climate change and AI and also the geopolitical landscape. But perhaps we need to give a thought to those things because whatever we do, they will affect us in whatever sphere of life we are in. Thank you very much.
Let's give a big round of applause to our speaker. It's time for our next speaker.
Alex Andade is the group chairman of the KGL and currently the chairman of the Ghana Investment Promotion Council. He serves on several boards with wide experience in the technology and petroleum sector. He is one of Ghana's best entrepreneurs who continues to contribute his quota to the social enterprises. All Dady serves on the advisory board of the Millennium Excellence Foundation. A renowned educationalist, Anis Hafar is
With a big round of applause, let's welcome him.
Thank you very much. I haven't scripted anything, so I will be very brief. The representative of Your Majesty Ashanti, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. I've been told I have to talk about the private sector engaging organizations like the Millennium Excellence Foundation. As the private sector, I personally describe myself as a diaspora entrepreneur and philanthropist, and I am proud, and I'll explain why. Diaspora because I left the shores of Ghana to go to the United Kingdom and then develop the alternative skills and knowledge to come back to serve the country. I feel like an entrepreneur because I have a philosophy that believes that to solve poverty and to create jobs, you have to create wealth. I believe strongly that wealth creation and poverty eradication are two sides of the same coin. So that is where we meet organizations like the Millennium Foundation, my own KGL Foundation, my own company, KGL Group, have set up one of the largest foundations in the country. We put 5% of our revenue into corporate social responsibility. We partner with for a lot of heritage things that he does. We work closely with the Millennium Foundation because we believe that this is one of the ways that we can contribute. We believe in the power of the private sector to partner organizations like the Millennium Excellence Foundation and also the government in creating jobs. My role, usually, I serve on the board. I am the chairman of the board of GIPC. I work closely with you, and the chief executive. And when I was sworn in as the chairman of the board, I pledged that we're going to use people like myself to tell the story, which means that the story wouldn't be told by the political class. It will be told by those who have been and done it. So what we do, myself, UV goes around and tells the story. They use the figures. I go around and tell the story of the entrepreneur, the philanthropist, the diaspora. So this is an area that we can work together to tell the great Ghanaian story, the great successful story. If I stood here maybe all day, one thing I do also is I want to think in terms of motivating, in terms of serving as role models. There is a convention in Ghana where you don't have to say you are too successful because the devil will probably get in. Where I have lived a greater part of my life, you're always proud to say you're very successful, you've done well. This is the only way that you can be a role model to people. You cannot say you haven't done well and they look up to you. So I'm proud that we can say that we've done okay in the space and we want to inspire the youth and serve as role models to them. We would continue to work closely with develop foundations. These foundations play a significant role, not only mine, ones like the Millennium Foundation invest so much in the youth. So I would encourage all of us to pay attention, and also if there's anything that you can do, we put into these foundations. Thank you very much, and I believe that next time I'll become well prepared to tell my story. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give a big round of applause to our speaker. It's time for our next speaker.
Dr. Ernest Ofori Sarpong is the chairman of the Board of Advisors of the Millennium Excellence Foundation. He is an astute businessman with interests in several sectors, such as the real estate sector, finance, manufacturing, media, amongst others in Ghana. Currently the chairman of the board of PRESEC, he believes in the education of youth of Ghana. He is a leading philanthropist with a vision of a solid democratic governance in Ghana. Ghana is pleased.
With a big round of applause, let's welcome him.
Chairperson, representative of the first, the second. Permit me, I will stand on the existing protocols to address this. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen in our dear media, distinguished invited guests, a very good evening. I am delighted to be asked to give a brief statement this evening. The Millennium Excellence Foundation, under the esteemed leadership of His Majesty Otumfuo the second, Asante Henry, has charted many fine initiatives over the past 24 years, both locally and overseas, and we must applaud the executive management for keeping with its vision and mission. As the chairman of the advisory board, it takes my duty to ensure the effective function of our organization and to seek guidance and counsel from His Majesty on the initiatives that we embark on. Since taking on this role as chair, I have to say without doubt that we are running a fantastic organization with a group of well-respected men and women. Our tradition since the year 2000 is to build on and promote the good socio-economic development stories coming out of Ghana and Africa, between local and international investment opportunities, and create role models for the next generation of leaders. As a non-profit organization, our sustainability has been made possible by the generous philanthropic donations from both the corporate world and individuals. Many of you in the audience have confirmed support the Millennium Excellence Foundation, and for that we are incredibly grateful and will continue to count on your support. For the first time since its establishment, the top prizes will be presented to deserving recipients with donors being immortalized. For example, we shall have the Kwame Nkrumah Award for Democratic Governance. What it means is that you put your name on the award, and then for every event, that award will be presented in your name. You are invited to add your name to be immortalized for one of the categories of the awards. You will be called upon on stage to present this top prize with His Majesty Otumfuo II. Your name will be associated with the top award and remain there for a lifetime. As we approach our 25th anniversary this year, we have made a bold decision to establish a permanent headquarters which will be unveiled during the hosting of the Millennium Excellence Awards in 2025. We encourage all of you here this evening to participate in what will be a historic award ceremony in Menchef Massive next year. Thank you for this opportunity to address you, and let us all continue to enjoy the rest of this evening. Thank you. Well, this is where I'd like to say a very big thank you to my co-MC, Cello. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we put our hands together for Cello? And now at this time, I'd like to bring up here Mr. Baden to help us in terms of building the momentum and getting ourselves ready for attendance to next year's event. Shall we welcome him with a big round of applause?
Good evening, distinguished guests and esteemed colleagues. Tonight, I'm very honored to be here to present to you this year's nomination platform for the Millennium Excellence Awards. In the age where recognition can help shape careers and inspire innovation, the process of nomination, I believe, should be very simple. So we put together a solution for this year's nomination. So in the next couple of minutes, I'll spend some time to walk us through how to go through the nomination process. My name is Godfred Baden, once again. Can you kindly have the video played? So the platform can be accessed in two ways. So first, we have the USSD approach. So that is for people in Ghana mostly. So with the USSD approach, the short code is *718 *234 £. Once again, the short code is *718 *234 £. Once you dial the short code, you have the main menu to select the nominee category number. Once you select the nominee category number, let's proceed. Select the category number. You can submit or provide the name of the person you are nominating. Once you provide the name, you proceed, and then you get to the next stage that tells you to send a 2-page write-up to nominations 2025 at mefghana.org. So once you go past that stage, there is a part where you have to pay 1 cedi 50 pesos to support the foundation. So that is what we just saw right here. So let's watch the video one more time. Once it's done, you get this message that your submission was sent successfully. So this whole process takes less than 2 minutes to complete. So we have the next approach to nominating people for this award. That is the online interface. So with the online interface, you have to go to, first you have to launch your mobile browser, and then you go to mef.casa. Casa spelled Q-A-S-A. So Q for quality. So mef.casa.me. Once you go there, you see this image. And then you have the form. So select the category you are nominating for. So once you select the category, you enter the name, and then you provide a reason for nominating the person. Once you fill all the form, you hit the nominate button, and that should take you to the next screen. On this screen, this is where you do the payment. So for Ghanaians, you pay 1 cedi 50 pesos, and for people in the diaspora, or for Ghanaians in the diaspora, you pay 1 USD. So we have two payment methods available for the Ghanaian people. That is a Momo option, and then the debit or credit card option. Once you submit your details with the payment form, you get the prompts to authorize the payment. And once the authorization goes through, that means the process has completed. So again, this whole process takes less than 2 minutes to start and complete. Thank you.
Urge all of you to continue to nominate, and nominations begin from tonight. So please do follow all of the prompts, follow all of the QR codes, and just make sure that you're nominating who you believe deserves to be honored at next year's edition of the Millennium Excellence Awards, which will be a big milestone. Also, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to urge all of us to fill all of the forms that have been given to us, especially as we would all like to be a part of the historic event next year. The process begins now, and we'll be grateful if you can cooperate with us so that we can ensure that your attendance is certain and sorted. Nana Chair, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it now gives me pleasure to welcome up here someone whom ordinarily we're not expecting on the program lineup tonight. It is because he has something special to do this evening. The founder of the Young Professionals and Youth Coalition, whose outfit is putting together the Africa Role Model Awards, is here this evening to bestow a special honor on the founder of the Millennium Excellence Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Honorable Andy Okra.
Madam Chairman, representing Her Father, His Royal Majesty, executives of Millennium Excellence Award. As Nathaniel said, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm a guest, but I wanted all of you to help me do something that is so special. Exactly a week ago, and I'm happy some of the professors and some of the participants are sitting down here. For 15 years, young professionals have been into recognizing, doing what Millennium Excellence is doing for 15 years. And then just a week today, exactly a week today, we're at Great Hall with His Royal Majesty, and then former President John Dramani Mahama, representative, the Vice Chancellor. The Pro Vice Chancellor is here. He was the chairman, I could say. He was representing the Vice Chancellor. And we selected, celebrating 15 years, and we selected 15 renowned role models. And I'm happy, I didn't even know one of them is even chairing one of the positions here. Professor Kaufman is here, was with us last week, Saturday at Great Hall. One of the individuals who was doing this thing for 25 years, solid years. And I'm sure you all know when it comes to excellence. So the governing council selected him, and we're expecting to surprise him in Kumasi, and he didn't come. And after that, I came and I found an invitation for me to be here this evening to attend this. So I told the gentleman that we'll be here. And then this one, because some of them are sitting down here, I'll call those who were there at last week Great Hall to join me here, whilst I invite Nat, where's our MC? Please be here. And then all of you with Nana, we want to celebrate an individual, recognize an individual who is doing marvelously well in this country. So please, read this citation before we see who that individual is. I could see Madam sitting down here, probably it's you, but let's listen to the citation who that individual is.
The citation reads, the citation reads, the patriarch of modern day business and corporate awards, your name is synonymous with creativity, innovation, and millennium excellence. Your ingenuity straddles several lines of industry where you have shaped and propelled several local entities into global prominence. Your resourcefulness is unmatched, and history will be very favorable to you as a patriot par excellence. Congratulations for achieving 25 years of the Millennium Excellence Awards. On this 6th day of July 2024, the Governing Council of the YPYC, on behalf of all members, confer on you our most respectable title of Africa's Role Model in Business Excellence. And this will go to Ambassador Ashim Morton, also known as Nana Ajimadu. Shall we put our hands together?
Oh, please, let's appreciate this wonderful man. As he comes, Professor Kaufman is province here. Province, oh, thank God. This is amazing. The Pro Vice Chancellor of Care University was the one presenting the awards last week. He's here. And then the latest role is also Prof. Kaufman. Please, let's all join me here. Madam Alice Aseogra, if you are here. Celebrate this man who's doing well. What do you say? I've got him.
So thank you very much. It says young professionals and youth coalition. So I'm still young, aren't I? This comes as a surprise, and I think I have a lot more to do. So let's cheer you on. Thank you very much.
grateful.
And we're very grateful to you one more time, Honorable Andy Okra. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we appreciate them with another big round of applause? And now at this time, I'd like to welcome up here to the stage one more time our indefatigable chairperson, Nana Achidakwijan Nwama V, for his closing remarks. Shall we welcome him with warm applause?
Good evening once again, distinguished invited guests, members of the governing board of the Millennium Excellence Award Foundation, honorable ministers of state, members of the diplomatic corps. It's my pleasure to round off this evening's proceedings. We've heard from several speakers. Mr. Anis Hafa, for example, spoke about the power of critical thinking and discipline and the impact of all of that on innovation and creativity. And he's challenging us that if we keep doing what we've been doing for a long time and educate our children to learn by rote rather than learning by doing a critical examination of what they've been taught, we are going to mark time and the rest of the world is going to leave us behind. We also heard from Mr. Kweku about the lack of attention that is being given to the emerging technologies, especially AI, which is creating abundant wealth for people like Elon Musk and many, many others. We here in Ghana can compete in that space, but we are not talking about it, and we are not energizing our youth to participate. He's also charging us to think about climate change and the sort of world we are going to leave for the next generation, how we are going to live our lives going forward. All these are critical challenges that create opportunities for us to make an impact. And these are the very, very ethos of the Millennium Challenge Foundation and the awards that we celebrate in recognition of those individuals, men and women at every level of society who have made a difference and contributed something that makes the world better and lifts other people out of the dire status they sometimes are in. We heard from Mr. Dade about giving back. You know, we shouldn't be shy to succeed, and when we do succeed, we should always remember there are other people who are less fortunate than ourselves. So we need to remember that charitable giving is very rewarding and it motivates us to work harder and do well. And I think once we do that, this foundation will seek you out and will honor you. And of course, the chairman of the advisory board, who himself has created a lot of businesses that are employing a number of people in the country, also spoke about what this foundation is seeking to achieve. We've been given a demonstration of how we can influence the award and the recognition of deserving Ghanaians and Africans. And as an example, the dream of the founder, my own great grandson, Ambassador Ashimotin Nana Premde, has created this environment here in Ghana where we recognize our own, we recognize the best in us, rather than pulling each other down and frustrating our efforts and lessening our ability to create an impact and make a difference to the lives of the ordinary person. Leadership is for service and it's not for self-reward and aggrandizement, as has been said earlier on. I look forward to next year when His Royal Majesty will be hosting the Silver Jubilee celebration and awards at Menchia Palace. And I urge you all to participate fully, either in nominating deserving recipients or supporting this non-profitable organization, because the success and the sustainability of it depends on your contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. And Utumbo, His Majesty, looks forward to hosting you next year on the Silver Jubilee anniversary of this event. Thank you very much. And then on this note, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave the stage, I duly declare the 25th anniversary celebrations of the Millennium Award celebration and award recognition duly launched today.
Another chair, the Millennium Excellence Awards Foundation is eternally grateful to you for playing this very important role here on this evening as we look forward to a milestone celebration of patting people on the back symbolically for excellence achieved. At this time, I'd like to respectfully welcome up here to the stage for the official note of appreciation according to our Ghanaian norms and our culture, a giant in the academia who also plays a key role on our boards here at the Millennium Excellence Foundation. Nana Chair, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Professor Elsie Effa Kaufman for our note of appreciation, which is also defined as the vote of thanks. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to stand here to thank all of you for gracing this occasion and for making this launch possible. I would like to start by thanking the Almighty God for giving us a good day and a good evening to do this. I am also grateful to you, Nana Chairman, for coming all the way with your entourage to make this a grand occasion. I thank our invited guests, various invited guests, excellencies, those from all over the place who have gathered here and have supported this worthy cause. Thank you all so much for making it possible. We look forward to seeing you again as we do our work and then as we gather to celebrate the next edition of the Millennium Excellence Awards. Thank you also so very much for coming this evening. Thank you.
Nana Chair, Honorable Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, our friends from the Diplomatic Corps, representative of the Gaman Chair, Ni Kwao Donko, representative of our highly revered and respected National Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimeyao, laureates, good friends, loved ones, believers in excellence, and believers in the original Ghanaian story of greatness. I'd like to say that it's been wonderful sharing your company this evening for the simple fact that we all do believe in one idea, which is to always come together every 5 years to symbolically pat the backs of the people, the men and women of our society who are playing various roles within their respective corners to make the wheels of this nation run. While they do all of this, it is the flag of Ghana that keeps flying high. While they keep doing all of this, it is the positive stories of their achievements that keep running. And of course, while all of this is happening as well, there is an unconscious transfer of the excellence onto the generations that are following. As we all depart this evening, it is my hope that we will all look forward to this with a lot of verve, with a lot of energy, and with great hope. Come next year, in the month of May, we will all rally round the life patron, Otumfo Osei-Tutu II, the king of the Ashanti Kingdom, a man who himself is a tower of excellence in many ways. Thank you all very much for making tonight significant. Thank you all very much for making it worth it. And with that, we will wrap it all up and look ahead to next year. But just before I put off these microphones this evening, I'd like to remind all of us that we have the special star experience to wrap up what has been a wonderful evening over conversations and networking. Once again, we're grateful to all of you. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and it's been wonderful sharing your company. Let's meet again here next year. Big salutes to all. Thank you. And of course, at this time, respectfully, we will all rise as our chairperson and our dignitaries take leave. Thank you all very much. God bless you.
Still here.